The Home Secretary absolutely is devoted to dealing with unlawful and illegal migration, and she's working hard to try and do that. But I think, remembering that we're part of a team here that should be driven by a collective responsibility to each other and to the country will allow us to focus on getting on with the job rather than making speeches that are at best being misinterpreted or at worst being seen as some sort of agenda that frankly helps nobody. I see a Conservative Party in Parliament and outside in the country that is still fizzing with ideas. There is huge ambition to govern this country wisely in the national interest, to deal with the issues that people are talking about, which is our overstretched health service, issues relating to the price of food and pressures on family life. And if we deal with those issues, as the Prime Minister has set out in his 5 priorities, then the Conservative Party will be shown to be in touch with the aspirations of the people of our country. Right. That's what we need to be focusing on, not trying to look ahead to 2025. And frankly, a party that doesn't have the privilege of serving in government is able to do nothing. And anybody who's contemplating defeat, or worse still, planning for it, should grow up or get out.
Well, that is a very blunt message to the Home Secretary: grow up or get out. And when you talk about self-fulfilling prophecies, you mean that this kind of airing of potential difficulties and differences, that makes a defeat at the next election more likely?
Well, it doesn't help, does it? Because the Prime Minister has clearly set out priorities that I think chime with the British people. Taming inflation is the way in which we will deal with the cost of living crisis. It will offer relief and support to millions of households and businesses up and down our country. It will help with pay and wage settlements that have been so difficult over the last few months. Previous Conservative governments understood that you have to slay the dragon of inflation in order to be credible on the economy. That's what this Prime Minister is trying to do. I'm giving him my absolute support, as I think the vast majority of Conservatives are, and his other priorities to grow the economy, to reduce debt as a share of GDP, and to deal with health backlogs, and yes, to stop those boats. Those are priorities, I think, that chime with the British people. The Home Secretary absolutely is devoted to dealing with unlawful and illegal migration, and she's working hard to try and do that. But I think, remembering that we're part of a team here that should be driven by a collective responsibility to each other and to the country will allow us to focus on getting on with the job rather than making speeches that are at best being misinterpreted or at worst being seen as some sort of agenda that frankly helps nobody.
All right. As I say, pretty plain and blunt stuff. Grow up or get out. I think that will stick in the memory. Robert Buckland, great to talk to you. Thank you.